So, it's been a week, and I have a couple of updates. So, as by the title of the video, you can see that we are talking about the Jimpy Designs Zentinel. This thing absolutely rips, in my opinion. It has a couple of drawbacks, but for the most part, it's all ups. For me personally, it is definitely one of those things that not everybody will like. It's kind of like a for example, like a Prisma situation, I would assume. It's very neutral slash ever so slight touch of blade bias, and that's not everybody's cup of jam. But I think that even if it isn't your preference, you may still enjoy this thing. So let's get into it. Weight. First off, I didn't actually talk about like the tune and everything like that, specs or anything in the first video, and that was my mistake. So here is the handle material, grade 5 titanium. It is S35 VN blade. I said that, but what I didn't say is that there is a hidden Zen shield design. So right here there is little cutouts, so whenever you take out the screws, there's a shield that you can take off of this side, which I think is really, really cool. I love hidden Zen designs. I think they look super sleek and nice. It really scratches that itch of having like the tang pins aesthetic, I guess. So you can have that, I guess. But talking about taking out the screws and all that stuff. First, I will say that the tune on this thing is really, really nice. There is virtually no movement. There is very, very, very little play. And there is no tap, obviously. It is super, super well tuned. However, I will say that the hardware that it came with, I'm not sure 100% if this is the original hardware. As I said, I got it secondhand, but if it is, then the hardware is, let's just say it has a hard time keeping a tune. I'm not exactly sure. Well, I have an idea why. The threads on it, on the actual like screw itself, have I think a little bit too much weight, or not weight. They have a little bit too much space in between them. So, say for example, a machine-wise screw has like really tight threads. It's because whenever it goes into its pivot, it'll use all those threads and create a lot of friction, so it makes it really, really hard for it to like back out. and they keep their tune really good. This does not have that, so I had to tighten it daily, which, I mean, it could be worse, I guess, but it could also be better. I tried taking them out and retightening them, just like really tight, still backed out. I tried taking them out and putting Teflon around them. They still backed out. So eventually I had to resort to actually Loctiting them, which I don't really like to do to my knives. I really enjoy being able to take them apart and maintenance them whenever they need to be maintenance. And I find that Loctite just adds that little bit of... it's just an extra factor. It would make it easier to strip your screws if they're locked in place. It would make it harder to take it out if it's too strong, because especially on this, there isn't that second T10 on the other side. It's just a flat or a rounded, pivot. So in order to take this apart, now I'll have to squeeze the handles together and, crank that until it cracks open, which hopefully I won't really have to do too much. Whoops. I don't intend on really beating the hell out of this thing, but yeah, that's just one of the major things that I saw. It's not really that bad. Anybody who knows more about tuning or fixing that stuff than I do probably wouldn't have too much of an issue with it. I just wanted to let it be known that that was one of the major things that I saw that could be improved. So that is my feedback on that situation. Next, I would like to address the jimping. As I said in the first video, the jimping does provide grip. It is very grippy. The angle is there. The grip is there. But personally, I think maybe it was a design choice or whatever, personal preference of the knife designer, but I personally don't love this style of jimping. I think it's a little bit hard to find whenever you're really in the flow, doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Trying to find that jimping can be really hard because the way that I do it, sometimes I'll do one of these and then my fingers will kind of catch it in a diagonal, and there's no grip on the sides, which is a minor drawback for me. Maybe I just need to get better, but yeah, that's something that I noticed a lot. Whenever I would drop it, it was because I was trying to do ladders or something like that, or just doing a trick that was too hard, I guess. But personally, I prefer the jimping that goes all the way through the handles instead of being inset. I know other people are fans of this type instead, but personally it's just a little nitpick that I have, so I thought I would mention it. As for the texturing, it is super, it's very subtle. I don't have a Tsunami to compare it to, but the one that I messed around with for a while at Blade Show, it's very comparable, or maybe less. it really just, it doesn't feel like there's any or much grip that's added by the texturing being on the faces. But I will say that it adds a really nice texture. It feels like a matte finish, sort of like a polished metal matte, as weird as that sounds. It feels really nice in the hand. It doesn't really add too much grip though. I wish that it was maybe a little more aggressive, just ever so slightly. Then it might help a little bit more. Speaking of that texturing, there's actually none on the outside faces of the handles, which I don't particularly love balisongs that don't have anything on this section. It's not a huge drawback, especially since, you know, there's this huge channel right here, so it's not really that big of an issue. But if you like faux channels, like the Kraken or Sandwich Design or anything like that, I do not believe that you would like the completely flat sides of this. But for all of those negatives, I'd say, lightly, gripes, I will say that the flipping is really, really good. Before I get into that, the cutouts on the sides, or the faces, sorry. The cutouts on the faces of the handles are fantastic. They have a slight chamfering on the inside, but it's still strong enough of an angle to where it really bites into your finger, and if you grip into it, you're just not, it's not slipping out. So really good job on the cutouts. Really nice. They've definitely helped me with getting a... They definitely helped me flip. So, thumbs up for cutouts. But the overall flipping experience, I've compared to what I have. I've compared this knife to what I have, and I think the closest thing that it flips like is maybe a Prisma V2. So it has that really neutral feel to it. However, I will say that the added weight, because, well, first off, the added weight is a huge bonus for this balance, in my opinion. I don't particularly love heavy balisongs, but this doesn't feel super heavy once it's actually in motion. It's just like getting it in motion takes a little bit of work, but once it's flowing and you're in the zone and doing stuff, it really feels really nimble and light, and it feels like you can do anything that you want to on it. It chaplains fantastic. 0G chaplains too. It just like sticks to your finger and doesn't want to let go. It's really, really good. What was I gonna say? I wasn't really gonna say anything, but I wanted to touch a little bit more on the weight. So I've been comparing it to the Prisma V2, and I've been calling it heavy, but that's only in comparison to the knives that I prefer to flip. It's not particularly super heavy, but it is 4.6 ounces, and what I'm comparing it to is 4 or sub 4. For example, the Prisma V2 is approximately 3.4 3.6. And that's what I mean whenever I say heavy, because that's kind of the stuff that I'm comparing it to. I really like a lot of Machine Wise's stuff, because they have, you know, weight versus balance versus performance and all that stuff. But I just wanted to clear that up. It's not like incredibly heavy, but yeah. So other than that, I don't really have much else to say about this. It feels like I was talking a lot of negatives, but I think I went into those more than I did the positives. I will say that my overall experience with the Zentinel has been overwhelmingly positive. It's just one of those subjective things that it's hard to explain completely why, other than what I've explained. It's a lot more accessible. It's a lot easier to talk about what I feel is a drawback for an item than exactly why I like an item. And I think that goes for a lot of us. But that's probably why it feels more negative than positive. But I wanted to clear it up. It is very positive. I've been having a fantastic time, and I'm super happy that I've actually got one of these. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have much else to say. I'll definitely be bringing it to Blade Show, so if you see me around, I'll probably be flipping the Zentinel, and if you wanted to try it, just ask, I guess, and I'll let you try and give it a whirl and see what you guys think. But yeah, I don't have much else to add on top of that, so without further ado, I'm gonna stop meandering and throw my ballast iron across the yard, because that's awesome. Twice. If you like this video, then feel free to leave a like. It helps out. If you disagreed, let me know how that's even possible, because they're my preferences. What? But yeah, here's a video you may like, and here's a subscribe button. So without anything else to add, whoops, I will see you guys. That's twice. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.